Last year, Albuquerque residents voted to overwhelmingly raise the city's minimum wage to $8.50 an hour. Now there is a push by some members of the city council to add criminal penalties to the existing civil penalties. We'll talk about that in a second. The difference for employers that don't follow the law. Councilor Ken Sanchez says Mayor Richard Berry hasn't done enough to enforce this law. Earlier this year, Berry said that it was the duty of the city attorney. And the mayor says that the city is enforcing the ordinance and has taken one restaurant to court. Two others got cease and desist letters ordering them to pay the higher wage. Now, Laura, Santa Fe does have a criminal penalty in comparison connected to its living wage. So this is unprecedented to add such a penalty here, or it's just a, timing of the mayoral elections. It's just a good mayoral election topic that the mayor's not taking care of our minimum wage business. Is that really what's going on here?
Well, I think the timing obviously is good for the advocates of the minimum wage in terms of bringing it up as an issue in the mayoral campaign. But I think there's still a lot of people who think it's a very important issue in general for the city of Albuquerque. And Councilor Sanchez's proposal basically penalizes those who aren't adhering to the law. So it takes out that the administrative side of the Berry administration or any other mayor's office to basically determine whether they're going to enforce the law or not. It makes it a requirement.
Does that square with the public? This is my question. There's such a gap, to me, it seems like, who actually enforces it, city attorneys, whoever the case may be. But you have the mayor saying, hey, it's not my job, man. You know what I mean? It's how do you do that to some types of citizens that says, you should get a lawyer? That quote blew me away.
Well, I think I think that it's definitely doesn't sit well with most of a lot of people. Most of the people I've heard from, at least, that it's not being enforced. So what the proposal does is it actually takes that away from just being a discretionary issue, and it actually includes automatic penalties, and then so that it's an automatic thing. It isn't about the resources or the city attorney having to make a determination.
Right. Sorry, Danny. My point there was it's cynical to say to somebody making $8.50 an hour, get a lawyer.
It's not cynical. It's not cynical when it's drawn in a way that if you win, your attorney gets fees. That's the way it's done in the real world.
How about if you want to sue somebody?
Then you didn't win. You were wrong. I mean, that's the way it should be.
All right, go ahead with your point.
See, this is the problem, Gene. People are wanting the government to foot the bill for you to go sue somebody. The way it's done, just like the IPRA law is done, if you have the right to bring a lawsuit, anybody can bring a lawsuit, but you're going to have to pay for it. Now, there's plenty of lawyers out there that work on contingencies.
Why should someone hire a lawyer to be paid?
Why should I pay your lawyer?
Law.
Why should I pay your lawyer?
Minimum wage. Why do you have to get a lawyer
because
to fight
that's
that?
a great question, and the answer is Ken Sanchez, who's running for re-election, should have known when he drafted the legislation and they passed it in the city council. This is not the mayor saying this. This is the city. This is the city council saying. Well, no, that's not true. This law was written to say. The law was specifically written to say that when it was passed, it says the people to hire their own lawyers, and if they prevail, their lawyers get their fees. That's the way the law was written. Now, the very people who passed the law, the Ken Sanchez's of the world, who want to be reelected, are running around saying, oh, no, it's the mayor, it's the mayor. No, the reality is the nitwits down at City Council passed a law that's flawed in the way they want it done.
Well, doesn't Mayor Berry want to be reelected too, and maybe that's why he's saying now that it's going to be enforced?
It's been being enforced. They've already they've sent 2 letters, and they're enforcing it the way it's been enforced the way the law was written. But see, this is a stark difference, Gene, that people want the government. They want the government to provide lawyers to go fishing for lawsuits.
What they want is for the laws to actually be enforced.
Then they should write the law. The law's being enforced. The law's being enforced. The law's being. No, I'm supportive of the way the law was written. And if Ken Sanchez and the Democrats that wrote the law didn't like the way it was written, they should have written it a different way.
Now they're changing it.
Fair enough, Rachel.
Go change it.
This idea of politicizing this, however, this seems like a very straightforward situation. The law is the law. When you get hired, you expect in your paycheck you're going to see $8.50 an hour, less deductions. I don't know how the mayor could possibly not get in front of this. It seems to me. Your opinion on that?
It's interesting. We're talking about Dennis Domzalski, and when he first saw the language of the ordinance when it originally came out, his first reaction was, "Wow, this sounds like a full employment act for lawyers." And it hasn't really played out that way yet. This is still pretty early in the process, but it has been long enough that I think probably a lot of people out there are starting to see if I want to fight to get my wages, it's going to be a difficult process, maybe some pushback about making that process smoother. And Berry did say earlier this year, he maybe sort of threw down the gauntlet. He said, if the city council comes to me with a proposal for more direct enforcement by the city, for the city taking a more direct role in that enforcement, I'd give it serious consideration. So, you know, timing is everything, and it's very interesting.
Good point, fair point there. To you, what you just said a second ago with that. Now, Russell, again, from the citizen point of view, if you're just trying to feed your family and make a living, you don't need this aggravation. You want to be paid, for God's sake. Is this going to take a class action suit? I mean, not that I know the nuances of class action suits, but I still can't see any one individual making a stand for $8.50 an hour with a lawyer. I can't quite see it.
Yeah, it's going to take more than that. It's going to take more than an advocacy group. It's going to take a coalition of folks to actually push public opinion and say, look, I am by law required to make this amount, and I am deserve this amount. And I'm not involved in any political party. I wash dishes. I want my money. That's
right.
all I want.
That's right.
If it becomes more of an advocacy group kind of thing, it becomes very politicized. And it's sort of what's going on with this election, where it's a nonpartisan mayoral election, but it's being very pushed towards this partisan thing. You see with Pete Dinelli's ad. He even has Ted Kennedy talking about the minimum wage and saying, you know, then has an unflattering photo of Barry and saying he's not ours, he's not one of us. So this is a total attempt to make a national issue a localized issue and make it partisan.
And meanwhile, in New Mexico, we've got other minimum wage things happening. Interesting. Santa Fe, I mentioned earlier, we've got ideas floating out there to make things countywide versus just the city. It would seem that momentum's on the side of folks who want a better minimum wage here. Is this just a roadblock on the way to something that's unstoppable in your view at this point?
I think you know, that is the movement what we're seeing right now. Now, you can pass these laws, but again, everything, the devil's in details. Where's the enforcement?
Right.
So I mean, it's like the Civil Rights Bill of the 1950s.
Sure.
It was
That's a
Well,
good-
with the
good
civil
analogy
rights,
there. Yeah.
with the civil rights stuff that he's saying, this is run the same way as the civil rights law, Gene. If someone has a civil rights complaint, they have to go find their attorney. They got to file that civil rights complaint, and if they win, if they win any part of that, their attorney gets the fees. That's why there's tons of attorneys out there that are scrambling to take these cases. There's no lack of attorneys ready to take a case if they're going to get their fees, and it's going to be extremely important because, like, you know, the KOB TV even said about Denali's ad, it's a far stretch from reality. So there's an opportunity for lawyers to make money.
I think we're going to see a lot more of an expansion of this issue even into the next legislative session, because I've heard anecdotally people talking about proposing this as a constitutional amendment for a minimum wage even. So it's something that's, I think, more than just the city of Albuquerque, and the enforcement issues are going to, I mean, that's what makes these laws effective, is ensuring that they're actually enforceable. So I think it's going to be a broader discussion. We're going
If
to
somebody
continue
came
see.
to you, you don't practice this type of law, but if somebody came to you for advice, say, I'm not getting paid my minimum, what would your advice be to them?
Well, I mean, certainly in the city of Albuquerque, I think the route of trying to get an attorney is an important route to consider for anybody. But it is really hard for people who, you know, don't even get $8.50 an hour, obviously, you know, to be able to figure out who to talk to, how to find a good attorney, how you even begin the process of figuring out whether an attorney will work on contingency. But I certainly would advise them to take that route and to contact other, you know, similar
You could hire that
groups.
Wisconsin marketing firm.
For
That's a
$7 million.
good note to wrap right there. That's a good one, because we're on the clock now. Good stuff, Dan.